Thank you, Cathaoirleach. Thank you, Minister. Minister, I'm disappointed at the absence of tourism in the annual transition statement. An ambitious domestic tourism strategy could be environmentally and economically sustainable and has become urgent in light of the effects of COVID-19 on the industry. We need to enhance and incentivise domestic tourism for the next few years. It's the only way the industry will survive. Greenways, blueways, walking trails and other eco-tourism initiatives that promote our natural and cultural heritage should be prominent in our climate and tourism strategies. For this to work, our hotels, who play a central role in facilitating tourism, many of which are on the brink of closure, will need more support. Without hotels in areas like West Cork, we won't have tourism. And with that, we won't have so much more. In my constituency, hotels are often the single largest employer in an area, as well as a huge part of the community. We saw this throughout the pandemic, as they were providing meals on wheels for those cocooning and have always been a host of community events and fundraisers. They are absolutely integral, and many are still recovering from the last recession. They simply can't afford another one. We need to look at the VAT rate, local authority rates, the Restart Grant, and so much more. Minister, what measures are you taking to enable significant growth in domestic tourism? And as part of these, will you establish a specific task force for hotels to provide targeted support for these essential community and tourism facilities? Given the time constraints, a written reply from your department would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
I'll certainly get you a written reply. There's not a problem with that. But I think you probably are aware of the fact that a lot of those hotel restrictions, restaurant restrictions, others in the tourist industries have been moved from one phase to the other. And that is a direct response to the sort of comment that you're making here today, but it's also a direct response to some very intensive representations and very effective ones made by the hotel industry and by the restaurateurs, and by us realising, obviously, that the tourist industry just employs so many people that we have to acknowledge the difficulties it's in. And there will be problems there. It's not going to be sorted out overnight, but we do have and we talked about the aviation task force today, I suppose at a length that we shouldn't have done because it's not actually relevant to the subject that we're talking about. But the task force on tourism, which was set up a couple of weeks ago, reacted very, very promptly and very enthusiastically, first of all, to its mandate, but secondly, with its demands. And it came back within, I think, a week and said, this is what we want. And I think it had a very fairly decisive effect, and it influenced certainly what was happening last week when the phases were changed. And don't think we're not conscious of that. I mean, the tourism industry is so important. And as is the aviation one, but they're both equally important in keeping the country going. And the fact that it was paralysed, and there was a few weeks ago, and if you look at the change in atmosphere, a kind of there was an assumption that there'd be no tourism here this year at all. That's what everybody was saying, including tourist groups themselves and including some of the agencies. Now, at least, they're talking more optimistically about opening up, and they're talking about staycations. And the problem has moved on to why can't people come in from abroad, and why can't we be able to go abroad, which is a different focus of the problems which people have. But you know, we have and we will be absolutely determined that the hotels, the restaurants won't, or any tourist industry outlet won't be closed for any longer than it should be. But I think we have acknowledged the difficulty and we have responded. And I think the tourist industry has responded quite well as well. But I take your point. It's not going to be perfect, no. But we're on the way. We're on the way.